How important a moment do you think this will be for King Charles to make this major public appearance for the first time we've seen him properly since his cancer diagnosis? What do you think it'll mean to him?
Well, Easter is a very important date in the royal diary. It's a time when the royal family get together en masse, usually down at Windsor. And I think it's all pointing in the right direction, is what sources are saying. And I think that's true, that he is prepared to mingle with other members of the family, albeit we understand he probably is going to sit slightly apart, he and Camilla, from the rest of the family because of the danger of infection. I assume that his immune system could possibly be compromised by the treatment. That's my assumption. But yes, it's a good signal. We have seen him, of course, out and about once or twice since the diagnosis, as this pictures show. He has been walking to and from the church at Sandringham on his Sunday worship. So we've seen him once or twice, and he's looked pretty well. And he's made a point of being seen around London as well, even on the short distance from Clarence House to Buckingham Palace. He's been in a car which has very clear windows, and he gives people a wave if they see him go by. So he's determined to be seen about as much as he can.
Well, yes, and how important is this service to him, do you think, in a normal year? And how much extra poignancy do you think it'll have, given what he and his family have been through in the last year?
Yeah, Charles is a very spiritual man, and he is very serious about his worship. And as you know, he's also very inclusive about all religions and all faiths. So this is an important day for him. Perhaps it will be tinged with sadness, because normally we would see a larger group of the family there. We would certainly see Catherine and William and the three grandchildren. And they won't be there, obviously. They're up in Norfolk, Catherine continuing her own treatment for cancer, and trying to give the kids some normality in these Easter holidays. And they love it up in Norfolk, and the King is fully supportive of them not being at Windsor and carrying on with the stuff they do, the outdoor stuff, the picnics, the barbecues, the working on the farm. George loves to try and feed the animals and drive tractors and stuff like that. So it's great for them there. So they're enjoying a bit of well-deserved privacy, which I think they are getting, which is good news. While the King feels, as head of state particularly, he needs to be seen in public. And this is a sign that he's bearing up well to the treatment.
Well, yes, and how much are we hearing about behind the scenes, how frustrated he is at not being able to do more appearances like this?
Yeah, I think he is annoyed. I mean, there are suggestions that he just, is a bit short-tempered about it. He just wants to get on with the job. He's waited long enough, hasn't he, to be king? And now to have this happen, and in conjunction with Catherine's illness, it's pretty tough. So he is working quite hard on his papers every day. He's seeing people, sees the Prime Minister weekly, sometimes by phone, sometimes in person. But obviously he has to be careful. His doctors are telling him, you must be careful, because the last thing you want is to pick up, even a cold while you're undergoing this treatment. So he is frustrated, I think, but hopefully this is a sign that things are going well.
Well, that's right. And how much of the palace divulging what the King's movements might be in the future? How much information have they been giving out about what we can expect?
Well, I think the planning at the palace for future engagements is a little bit on hold. I think tentative arrangements might still be being made for a trip to Australia much later in the year. But day to day, they're just making sure he gets on with what's necessary, the red boxes, etc. And he will be back in action as soon as he possibly can. But I think they have to proceed carefully, because the last thing we want is him, to get back to announcing he's fully recovered and getting back to engagements and then having to step back again. So I think, as with Catherine, they both feel they must make full recovery before they return to a full diary.
So in the meantime, are we likely to see Camilla taking up many more public duties? We've seen her around a lot, stepping into his shoes in some cases.
She has taken an awful lot, hasn't she? I always say, she never particularly wanted this role, and I don't think many people in their mid-70s would want a pretty intense job. And I've been astonished by how much she's been out and about. That sort of stuff, people will say, oh, it's easy, go out. But it's quite tiring.
Jennie, I'm so sorry. We're out of time. Sorry to cut you off. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you.